The Galactic Assembly had existed for 12,000 years, a peaceful confederation of 247 species bound by the covenant of harmonious coexistence. In all that time, first contact protocols had been refined to an art form. Every new species encountered followed predictable patterns: initial fear, cautious communication, cultural exchange, and finally, integration into the Assembly's economic and political framework. Ambassador Tlorn of the Viridian hierarchy reviewed the files on humanity one final time as his diplomatic vessel approached the coordinates where human transmissions had originated. The species was young, barely 3 centuries since achieving fusion power, only recently venturing beyond their home system. Standard primitive civilization metrics. The Assembly's xenoanthropologists predicted humans would be grateful for guidance, eager to join the galactic community, and appropriately deferential to species with millennia of advancement. "We're approaching the designated meeting point," announced Navigator Kesh, her mandibles clicking with satisfaction. "No vessels detected. They're probably still en route with whatever primitive scout ship they've managed to construct." Tlorn adjusted his ceremonial robes, each thread woven with light-reactive fibers that displayed his diplomatic rank. Behind him, a full retinue of specialists waited: linguists, cultural attaches, economic advisors, and a small security detail flying the Assembly's banner of peace. This was humanity's moment to join civilization. He would make it memorable. "Ambassador," Kesh said suddenly, her voice losing its casual tone. "Spatial distortion detected. Massive energy signature. Something's arriving." The viewscreen activated automatically, and Tlorn felt his 3 hearts skip in synchronized fear. The vessel that emerged from what appeared to be a controlled singularity was beyond anything in the Assembly's database. It wasn't large by capital ship standards, perhaps 2 kilometers in length, but everything about it radiated purposeful lethality. The hull was composed of overlapping angular plates that seemed to shift configuration even as Tlorn watched, adaptive armor responding to sensor sweeps. Weapon emplacements dotted its surface like the eyes of a spider, each one tracking the diplomatic vessel with unnerving precision. "Scan it," Tlorn commanded, his voice barely steady. The results made his blood run cold. "Antimatter reactor outputting 10 to the power of 20 watts, the science officer reported, his voice hollow with disbelief. "That's more than our entire home fleet combined." "Shield harmonics they're rotating through quantum states. I don't think conventional weapons could penetrate them. And those weapon systems, they're using technologies we've theorized but never achieved. Particle beams operating at 0.99 lightspeed, directed energy weapons in the petawatt range, and something else. Magnetic confinement systems that suggest relativistic. Kinetic weapons. They're a primitive species," Tlorn said weakly. 3 centuries of space travel. "Sir, I'm reading their hull composition. Those aren't standard alloys. They're using programmable matter, materials that can reconfigure at the molecular level. And the armor plating, it's incorporating quantum uncertainty into its defensive properties. This isn't primitive. This is more advanced than anything in the Assembly." A communication request flashed across Tlorn's console. He accepted with a trembling manipulator. The human who appeared on screen was unexpected. No elaborate ceremonial dress, no ostentatious displays of wealth or power. Fleet Admiral James Kowalski wore a simple dark uniform with minimal insignia, standing on a bridge that was all business: holographic tactical displays, crew working with quiet efficiency, no wasted space or resources. "Ambassador Tlorn," Kowalski said in perfect galactic standard, his pronunciation flawless. "Thank you for accepting our invitation to first contact. I'm Admiral Kowalski of the United Earth Space Command. This is the UESC Indomitable, representing humanity's interests in this meeting." Tlorn struggled to find his voice. "Admiral, your vessel is unexpected. Our intelligence suggested humanity was still in early stages of interstellar development." Kowalski's expression didn't change. "Your intelligence gathered data from our civilian infrastructure and commercial traffic. We didn't think it necessary to advertise our military capabilities to unknown alien civilizations monitoring our transmissions." "You knew we were watching?" "For 40 years," Kowalski confirmed. since we first detected your FTL signatures passing through nearby systems. We've been studying the galactic assembly, learning your languages, analyzing your technology, and understanding your political structures. We wanted to be prepared for this conversation. Tlorn felt the weight of 12,000 years of diplomatic precedent crumbling around him. You studied us? Without contact? That's highly irregular. It's called due diligence, Ambassador. We had no way of knowing if your assembly was peaceful or predatory. History has taught humanity to be cautious with first impressions. From the science station, a junior officer's voice trembled. Sir, I'm detecting additional vessels. They're not decloaking, they were already here, hidden behind stealth fields we couldn't penetrate. The tactical display updated. 12 more human warships revealed themselves, arranged in a precise geometric formation around the diplomatic vessel. Each one bristled with the same terrifying technology as the Indomitable. A precaution, Kowalski explained calmly. I'm sure you understand. Now, shall we discuss terms? Terms? Tlorn echoed. Ambassador, the standard first contact protocol involves. We're familiar with your protocols, Kowalski interrupted gently. We've reviewed the treaties offered to the last 30 species that joined the assembly. Economic integration that heavily favors established members. Technology sharing agreements that flow primarily in one direction. Political structures that grant voting rights proportional to species' age and population, ensuring newer members remain minority voices for centuries. Tlorn's skin flushed with embarrassment. Those clauses were standard, designed to maintain stability, but hearing them stated so bluntly made them sound exploitative. We're not interested in those terms, Kowalski continued. Humanity is willing to join the Galactic Assembly, but as equal partners, not supplicants. We'll share our technology on a reciprocal basis. We'll accept trade agreements that respect mutual benefit. And we'll require voting rights commensurate with our population and capabilities, not our age as a spacefaring civilization. That's unprecedented, Tlorn stammered. The Assembly Council will never. The Assembly Council will accept, Ambassador. Kowalski's voice remained polite, but there was titanium underneath. Because if they don't, humanity will remain independent. We'll establish our own sphere of influence, trade with whom we choose, and expand at our own pace. And based on our technological capabilities, we'll do it very effectively. Behind Tlorn, the security chief whispered urgently. Sir, their weapons systems just went active. Not targeting us, but they're charging. A demonstration, Kowalski said, as if reading their minds. Navigator, target the rogue asteroid in Sector 774. On the tactical display, an asteroid roughly 3 kilometers in diameter appeared, tumbling through empty space 40 million kilometers away. The Indomitable rotated slightly, bringing its main weapon array to bear. What happened next would be discussed in the assembly for generations. The human warship fired a single projectile, a kinetic round accelerated to 0.9 lightspeed using electromagnetic rails and gravity manipulation. The projectile crossed 40 million kilometers in under 4 minutes. When it struck the asteroid, the impact released energy equivalent to a small stellar flare. The asteroid didn't crack or fragment. It vaporized, converted instantly into a cloud of superheated plasma that would be visible from a dozen nearby star systems. Our point defense systems can fire 300 of those per minute, Kowalski said conversationally. Our main cannons can accelerate projectiles to 0.99 c. And this is just one ship, Ambassador. Earth's defense fleet numbers in the thousands. Tlorn couldn't speak. His entire understanding of galactic power dynamics had just been rewritten. Now, Kowalski continued, I believe we were discussing terms. Humanity seeks peaceful coexistence, Ambassador Tlorn. We want to be part of the galactic community, to share knowledge, culture, and prosperity. But we will not be subjugated, patronized, or treated as primitives who should be grateful for your guidance. He leaned forward slightly. So let me ask you directly, is the Galactic Assembly interested in gaining humanity as an equal partner? Or should we pursue our destiny independently? Tlorn looked at the human warships, at their impossible technology, at the vacant space where an asteroid had existed moments before. He thought about the Assembly Council's reactions, the political upheaval this would cause, the centuries of carefully maintained hierarchy about to collapse. Then he thought about what would happen if humanity expanded without Assembly guidance, if these terrifyingly capable beings decided they didn't need ancient bureaucracies and established orders. I will recommend to the Council that your terms be accepted, Tlorn said quietly. All of them. Kowalski smiled for the first time, and it was genuine. Thank you, Ambassador. I think this is the beginning of a very productive relationship. As the human fleet escorted Tlorn's vessel back to Assembly space, news of the first contact spread through the galactic networks. In diplomatic chambers across 247 worlds, the same conversation repeated: humanity had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same. The age of humanity's deference had ended before it began. The galaxy had expected primitives seeking guidance. Instead, they found equals demanding respect. And in that moment, the balance of galactic power shifted forever.